Hey there. It's been a while. It's been 3 years actually. I decided to make this video today because I want to provide an explanation and some insight to the many people who have watched this channel over the years and who have watched me grow from a small creator into a viral creator and then seemingly disappear overnight a few years ago. I want to explain what happened, I want to explain my reasons for leaving YouTube, and I want to explain some of the situations that led up to that happening. And I also want to talk a little bit about the mental health effects of being a YouTuber of my size. I had to wait to make this video because I just needed to make sure that I had really gotten past the situations I am going to talk about. And I had to make sure that I had forgiven any of the people involved in those situations because I didn't want to make a video like this out of anger or bitterness in any way. So before I get into what happened, I just want to recap where I was at a few years ago with this channel and the course it was taking. I made my first YouTube video back on December 19th, 2009, which is actually 10 years ago to the day of the recording of this video right here. Over the years, I had varying degrees of success with YouTube, and then in 2014, the channel took off, went viral, and I started doing videos that were getting millions and millions of views. I wound up on international news. All of a sudden, I was popping up on Good Morning America, front page CNN, and it became almost overwhelming. The success continued. I wound up getting my own TV show on MTV, and then in 2016, I abruptly just seemed to quit the internet. Now, if you've paid attention, I actually haven't completely left YouTube because I have a couple of other channels, but we will get to those. I'm going to explain that by the end of the video. I want to explain some of the reasons for leaving though. Now, first, I've talked to a few people and it seems that the consensus is that adpocalypse played a big role in me discontinuing my videos, but that was actually a very small part of my decision. There were actually three main things that I can break it down into as far as I see it that caused me to leave YouTube, and I'll get into each of those three here. The first thing is the problem I've had with dealing with other YouTubers in the industry. Once you get to a certain size, it may look from the outset like a lot of YouTubers hang out, collaborate, and are there to support each other, and I would love for that to be the truth. Unfortunately, most of my experiences have not been this positive. Not that all of my experiences have been bad, but what I've found in many cases upon trying to work with other YouTubers is that this is an industry truly filled with narcissistic, toxic people. There are channels dedicated to drama amongst YouTubers. You've all seen it if you've been on YouTube for any amount of time. You've seen some of the situations that have taken place with Jeffree Star, James Charles. Half the makeup community, it seems, is always involved in some sort of drama. But this seems to be the case amongst many other YouTubers as well. Just to summarize a few of my experiences so you can better understand what I'm talking about here, I can give you a few examples. One of the first times I tried to collaborate with another channel, we met up and the agreement was that we hashed out this idea. I would write a comedy skit that we would both collaborate on, and upon writing that and sending it to this person, she took the script, ghosted me, and then never talked to me again. There have been other situations where I've made contact with other YouTubers via email and sent them ideas for how to incorporate my street magic into their channel, and instead of going forward with the idea, they just took it, released it on their own on their channel without involving me or crediting me. This is sort of how this industry works. Just to give you another example of my experiences within the industry, there was another large YouTuber several years ago, he's a dead channel now, that we had attempted to work together. This is not Vincent Valentine, by the way. We actually had we had really positive interactions. We have collaborated before, but there was another YouTuber, very large at the time, who was considered like the nice guy of YouTube. Upon having him to my house to work on a collaboration, he stood in my kitchen with me. We were talking about some future ideas that I was sharing with him, and he actually told me it would be a good idea not to share too many ideas with him or other people in the YouTube circle, because in his words, when he hears about another channel having good ideas, he wants to crush them. Those were his words. So we did this collaboration, we filmed it over the course of a day or two, and he went home and he just took the footage, never released it, and again, ghosted me, didn't hear from him after that. The only thing I could take away from that was that he deemed some of my ideas just too dangerous, like my channel might become too successful if he released this collaboration, which again, Really shocking, but all these experiences really started to open my eyes to how this industry works and the toxicity that exists within this industry. You'll notice I'm not naming names here, by the way, and I just really want to make it clear that these are all situations that have happened in the past. I've really put this behind me and I've forgiven these people, but I wanted to take the time to share my story here and to explain my absence from YouTube and why I left. So that's what I'm doing here. The second reason, which sort of goes along the lines of what I've talked about here, is finding a lot of fake friends within the industry. Unfortunately, rather than finding friends that are really there to support you, there's a lot of jealousy, a lot of egos, a lot of narcissism. They've really just been, in my experience, more toxic encounters with other YouTubers than positive ones. Again, going back to the drama you see on the drama channels here on YouTube, a lot of that is really present even when you're not hearing about it. And I've encountered that a lot, and it really, again, just really opened my eyes to this industry and how it works and the type of people that are in it that are successful. The third thing here that contributed to my decision, and the one that probably had the most impact on me, was they were the events and the fallout from my TV show. Back in 2015, I was contacted by MTV because of the success on my YouTube channel, and I was offered the opportunity to host my own series on MTV. This was a 22 episode series which I was to be the host of. I was contacted by some of the executives and a lot of great things were said. This is actually a really great part of my life right here. It was a really good time in my life when I was flying around the world with MTV and getting to go to the MTV Awards and present, this new show on stage with them. I was getting to go and just do some amazing things I thought just in my wildest dreams I might get to do one day. And I got to do them. It was an incredible time. This show was pitched to me as the beginning of what was supposed to be a very long career with the network. And I had really high hopes for it. Suddenly though, just days before filming began on the show, someone else was hired to work on the show with me, who was there to be in sort of a sidekick co-host role. And the best way I can describe what happened next was that essentially, the way I see it, my show and my career both ended up just being sabotaged by this person. Whether it was stepping on my lines during filming or just taking my lines right off the teleprompter or talking about me behind my back and building relationships with the other producers on the show, she just really seemed to take every opportunity to upstage me and make me look as bad as possible. While I know a lot of what happened, I can only imagine the things that were being said and done behind my back that I don't know about, and the end result was the show suffered and my career with MTV ended. At the time, this was incredibly difficult for me because, like I said, this was my dream at the time. My ultimate dream was to have my own TV show, perform magic on TV, on my own show, and to watch that be systematically destroyed and taken away from me over the period of many months is definitely something that was incredibly difficult at the time that I don't really know. If you haven't gone through it, I don't know how to describe career sabotage for somebody who hasn't experienced it. I want to make it very clear that this is in the past. I don't believe in feeding a narcissist any more than you have to, so I want to say that I've put this behind me, which is the only reason I'm able to make this video and talk about it now without any bitterness. Around this time, towards the end of 2016, I made a series of commentary videos either making fun of or exposing the fake prank, fake social experiment industry, and just the fake YouTube industry as a whole. While I'm extremely proud of these videos and I genuinely feel that they are some of the funniest content I've ever written, the humor often gets very dark, and there's more than one reference made to suicide in these videos. Looking back on this now and being honest with myself, I can say that I was channeling a lot of my own feelings through comedy. But I should have talked with someone, and if you're feeling this way, you absolutely should as well. So anyway, this is what happened though, and due to all of the things I've talked about in this video thus far, by the end of 2016, I had just completely lost all passion to make videos. Essentially, I thought a career as a YouTuber was going to be one thing, and for me it turned out to be something completely different. And it had just taken such a huge toll on me emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially that I just didn't want to do this anymore at that point. I had actually gone completely broke. So for a while I took a job at a casino, and not to look down on an honest day's work, but I had worked so hard and I had just had my dream job. It was surreal for me that in a 1-year period, I went from starring in my own TV show to spinning a roulette wheel for a living. It didn't make sense, but thankfully, that's not where this story ends. I really had to take a look at what I really, really wanted out of life. And I had to take a look at why I got into doing this in the first place. I had to look at the root of where these dreams came from. Because, you know, what do you do with a broken dream? What do you do with that? I had to look deeper and figure out where the dream originated. And for me, the root of it for me came from two places. I loved entertaining people, and I really, really wanted to work for myself and be self-employed in some way. I think sometimes when your dreams end up looking differently than you thought they were going to look, you just have to find a new dream. So I took the root of where this dream came from, and I decided that I was going to focus as much effort as I could in becoming fully self-employed, performing magic, which I was already sort of doing, but it was not providing any sort of a full-time income. I was going to focus effort on building myself up like I'm a business, and focus effort on my fledgling marriage proposal planning company. I've actually been a lifelong entrepreneur ever since I was a kid. I've started small businesses that going back to when I was a teenager, and I've run a few little small businesses over the years, and I decided to take that entrepreneurial spirit and apply it to what I'm doing now, and apply it to performing. Every break I had at work, I started reading and learning as much as I could about entrepreneurship, marketing, sales, all the things that I didn't know yet. I applied all the things I was learning. So I would go to work during the day, and I started performing at night, and I would do this day in, day out, until eventually, by the summer of 2017, I was able to quit my job for the casino that I was working at. And by the end of the next year, I was earning a six-figure income for the first time ever from just performing magic. And that's where the next part of this story comes in. Over the past few years, I've actually made a number of TV appearances. I've put out some viral videos. I've actually got a whole other channel full of my marriage proposals that has received millions of views, but if you'd have blinked, you'd have probably missed it because I just haven't publicized it that much. I've just been focused on business. And that leads us into the next project I want to talk about, because I'm officially announcing the launch of my new business and channel, Moneybeard. The Moneybeard channel, which I've linked in this video and the description, is focused on teaching you the entrepreneurial skills and personal finance advice that I've used to become successful, in the hopes that you'll be able to learn from it and be successful as well doing something that you would love to do. Please go follow that channel if you've ever wanted to work for yourself or just make more money. Next, let's talk about the future of this channel, which is sort of related to this video. Being in the entertainment industry for so long, as you might be able to tell, has left me with a lot of stories. Some of them are suspenseful, some are a little bit sad, some are funny. They're all interesting in their own way. And I've compiled a lot of these stories that I've found that I've told people over the years into a show, a storytelling show, which I call What Could Go Wrong. A lot of these stories have to do with a common theme of something going terribly wrong behind the scenes on a viral video or a TV show or on stage, and me having to fix the problem with limited time, no resources, or else face embarrassing or otherwise pretty bad consequences as a result. I'm going to be previewing some of those stories right here on this channel over the coming weeks and months, and I'm also planning a college tour once the show is fully put together. I just want to say thanks for watching this. I appreciate you taking the time to hear my story. I hope this has provided some sort of insight behind the scenes of what it's like to be a YouTuber. I needed to recharge and rebuild a little bit, but now that I've done that, I'm back, and I hope you'll enjoy some of the content both on this channel and my other ones as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.